What you are about to watch is the best and closest story of our true history. The researcher known as Our True History is the foremost expert and has solved things people didn't even know could be solved. This is the first video of the series. Check out his channel for more. And documentaries, ourtruehistory.co.uk.
In a universe that is not the one we are in, a planet with beings living on it try to recreate the start of their universe. They use a machine that smashes particles together. They know it's dangerous, but they still try. They manage to get two particles to smash. But what they didn't expect was a new particle is formed. This new particle starts expanding. The beings try everything to destroy this new energy but can't. Frantically put a force field container around it to stop it expanding even more. They have realized they have just created a universe, a tiny one to them, but still a universe. The energy within the new small universe expands within the force field. But what the beings didn't know is they also created a new life form inside that new universe. Maybe even more than one, these small plasma energy orbs are just starting a life. They know nothing other than to move around. Time moves different inside the universe inside the force field. From the time outside of it, inside time belongs to mass and speed. But other than the orbs, no one is around to notice. The plasma orbs are energy. They won't die. But because they have no mass, they can go back in time to when the universe was formed. They can even go forward in time. As time moved on, the material in the mini-universe started to clump and coalesced. The main part of this was what we know as heavy water. The water would mingle and form all types of planets, from planets with gas mixed it to watery planets and everything in between. Inside the universe, suns formed, mostly two inside each solar system. Everything was a mess back then. Nothing had stable orbits. Planets would smash in suns and into other planets. Slowly, over time, everything started to settle. And that's where our story starts. A planet with a red hue on one side and blue oceans on the other is ejected from its own solar system. It didn't manage to get a stable orbit, and over millions, if not billions of years, it slowly let go of what orbit it had, sending the planet out of its solar system and across the Great Void, a void between solar systems. Its journey took 70 years of its time. Remember, time moves different in this universe, and this planet was big, at least 4 to 10 times the size of Earth. But this planet has a secret. Like many planets that were formed a long time ago, this planet had life forms. They have been evolving for billions of years. On the planet, there is a species with intelligence. They have evolved enough to have created spaceships. There were animals on the planet, but its alpha race was called Dingir. They had their own wars on their planet. Over a long time, it goes so bad with them using nukes on each other, they called a truce and let a male and female from the opposite sides marry, forming a new kingship that would keep the peace. They would then marry close relatives and half-sisters and half-brothers to keep the bloodline pure for whoever is royalty. We translate their race name Dingir to the word gods. The other side of the void, there was a solar system was forming from the waters in the empty space. The sun had been formed first, and then the waters mingled, and a huge water planet was formed. We know it now as Tiamat. The Norse gods called it the frost giant. You can see all the evidence on my website, ourtruehistory.co.uk. Over time, Tiamat broke out smaller planets, and other planets also formed because of the waters. The planet that was crossing the void, we know it as Nibiru, entered this new solar system and passed many planets. They didn't have proper orbits and were smashing into each other. But Nibiru, home of the Dingir people, managed to pass the planets heading towards the sun. Nibiru, being a large planet, picked up 4 small asteroids, which got trapped in its orbit and became moons of Nibiru. Nibiru's direction took it past a planet we call Jupiter and straight towards Tiamat, the huge frost giant planet. The 4 moons of Nibiru get pulled towards the huge frost giant because of its gravity. The moon smash into Tiamat, and Nibiru direction changed because of Jupiter, and made Nibiru swing back around past Jupiter, back out towards the edge of the solar system. The planet Tiamat was damaged but didn't break it up. But when Nibiru got to the edge of the solar system, it came back around. This time, it was heading directly for Tiamat, and the Dingir knew it. There's nothing they could do. They just hoped it would be okay for them and their planet.
End of episode 1. If you want to watch them all and watch documentaries with the evidence, visit ourtruehistory.co.uk. Please reshare or repost this. It really helps me keep researching and making content. Thank you. Our True History.
Planet Nibiru hit Tiamat, and Tiamat started to break up. But when Nibiru hit the ice planet, it transferred life from Nibiru to the watery ice planet. Tiamat broke up with one larger part, moving away past a planet we call Mars. Tiamat's own moon, called Kingu, also got knocked away. The rest of Tiamat broke into millions of rocks, and the water on those rocks stayed around that area. The larger part of Tiamat that broke off finally got caught in an orbit. It's in between planets we call Venus and Mars. It settled in the middle of them. This is because of a thing called Bode's Law. We know that middle planet is Earth. Kingu, the moon of Tiamat, also found its way near Earth and got caught by Earth's gravity. Kingu became the moon to Earth. Earth at that point was an ice planet. We call that time Snowball Earth. The rocks out between Jupiter and Mars, the other remains of Tiamat, were spinning out of control. The Dingir had no choice but to try to stop the asteroids flying all over. They got in their ships and managed to make a ring of them. We call that ring the asteroid belt. The Dingir called it the hammer bracelet. They were pleased, but they had now created a vault in the expanse.
Genesis 1:6-8, NIV. And God said, "Let there be a vault between the waters to separate water from water." So God made the vault and separated the water under the vault from the water above it. And it was so. God called the vault Sky.
The Bible talks about the asteroid belt. It even tells us about the water above and below. We know the water and asteroids were part of the planet Tiamat, a firmament that we think is a dome over Earth. The Dingir called it a firmament and told us about the waters above and below it, the waters that were from the broken-up planet called Tiamat. Ceres, the largest object in the asteroid belt, is a water-rich world, primarily in the form of subsurface ice and possibly briny liquids. Data from NASA's Dawn mission, 2015 to 2018, shows that water makes up a significant portion of Ceres's composition. far higher than Earth's overall percentage. Nibiru ended up with an orbit between Mars and Jupiter, and back out past Pluto. This orbit took around 3,600 Earth years. The Dingir called it a shar. We call a shar a year. So to them it's just 1 year, but we see it as 3,600 years. This will become important later. Over time, the planet Nibiru's atmosphere was struggling. The planet kept warm by volcanoes and thermal heat from within, but the atmosphere was starting to escape into space. Something needed to be done. The Dingir first tried to restart dormant volcanoes using nukes. It didn't work. Then they thought that gold particles sprinkled in the atmosphere might help. They knew the hammered bracelet had golden veins. They sent ships out to mine the gold in the asteroid belt, but they lost 2 ships. They didn't know what to do, and their king, who was called Alula, wasn't doing anything about it. A young man proclaimed himself to the rightful heir to the throne. His name was Anu. The elders checked family records. He was indeed entitled, but Alula suggested a wrestling match. The winner takes the throne. They wrestled, and Anu won. He beat Alula and became king. Alula feared for his life, because he only got the kingship because he killed the previous king. Alula fled to one of the spaceships. He knew the asteroid belt and Earth were made from the planet Tiamat. He thought if he could travel to Earth and find gold, they might make him king again. He traveled long and far in the ship, finally reaching the asteroid belt. He was in a ship with nukes on it. He fired them as the asteroids to create a gap to get through. He was now on his way to Earth. What would he find there? The furthest any Dingir had ever gone was the hammered bracelet. Could he even breathe on Earth? The Dingir called Earth Ki. It was a long journey. He finally passed Mars. Next stop Earth.
I hope you are enjoying these. If you want to watch the other episodes or watch one of my thousands of documentaries, please visit ourtruehistory.co.uk. Please reshare or repost this. It really helps me keep researching and making content. Thank you. Our True History.